We're going to start now into the ReColor. There are a couple things that make this color line way different. So I was very concerned when I found out we were coming back out with ammonia color because I've been telling an opposite story and I don't like to lie. So if a company makes me lie, I get really mad. When we launched Beauty Fusion is so healthy, PPD free, resorcinol free. I was really proud of the fact that we got rid of resorcinol because many of the companies I worked for in the past that were environmental companies tried to get rid of resorcinol. Resorcinol is a coupler that helps to bring pigments together inside the hair to make them last permanently, but it also has some color to it. It is one of the things that makes color cover gray the best. Every time a company tried to get rid of resorcinol, they lost their gray coverage. I had two companies I worked for who were dying to get rid of it because resorcinol is one of the chemicals that causes the dead zones in our ocean. And so as an environmental company, you don't want that in your color if you can help it. None of them have been able to successfully do it. We now have two color lines with no resorcinol. Beauty Fusion has no resorcinol, and so does the new ReColor. That's pretty cool that we were able to get rid of it and still cover gray amazingly well. Teaching Beauty Fusion, in Beauty Fusion, which we'll talk about in a little bit, you mix a booster in it to make it, you can take it from gloss to demi to permanent, depending on how much booster you add. The booster is your cream ammonia. You have complete control of the ammonia. So if I don't put any booster in it, it's literally no alkalinity at all. So it's perfect for toning. Well, they would ask me, why did you all use ammonia in such a health-conscious line like Beauty Fusion? Because most people have been taught that ammonia-free is healthier, right? Like I told you earlier today. So I would explain to them that if you look on Google, there's a lot, and this is only true for permanent color, not for demi, but MEA permanent color, when used with 20 volume and higher, has been causing hair loss, a lot of hair loss. When you use an MEA permanent hair color, when mixed with 20 volume or higher, there are studies, you can Google it, and it'll come up with studies, that they're showing that it's causing pretty recognizable hair loss in customers. And the reason was, you're putting that alkalinity that's a liquid on the scalp, and it's staying alkaline the whole time. With a high developer, 20 volume or higher, and all of that activity is damaging the follicles of the head, and now you're getting hair loss. So when we launched Beauty Fusion, I taught them about MEA and ammonia and why we decided to make Beauty Fusion have ammonia, not MEA. We got rid of our ammonia-free line, and so I taught all that. Now I'm going to have to come out and teach people that we have an ammonia-free brand. How am I going to do that? So it was a big concern for me, and I was like, I don't know if I'll be even talking about it. But I got on a phone call, and what was interesting is they did several things to take care of that. So the mixing ratio of this color is 1 to 1.5 when you're using it as regular color. The reason for that is so that you're using more developer. That lowers the alkalinity level and dilutes the MEA content. So that's the first thing they did to take care of that MEA issue. The second thing they did is some of the ingredients that we will get into actually protect the scalp and have super strong antioxidant reactions so that it helps keep that MEA from damaging the follicle. So everything that I was concerned about got addressed, and this is the first ammonia-free permanent hair color line on the market to have all of these things taken care of. So I feel very comfortable with it. I've used it a lot now. I actually have it in my hair. Every time I've used it, I've been really, really happy with it. And the shine is crazy. I even tried to refresh mid-shaft and ends with its color, or with the U Up 2 actually. And I got the same color match, but the shine of this was so shiny at the new growth, it looked weird because the other was a different kind of shine. So it wasn't even about the color not matching, it was about the shine didn't match. It's a really cool shine factor in this if that's something that you're looking for. The other thing is we've been begging for more swatch books that come out. The swatches come out, and they actually took care of that for us, and we hope that they'll rethink the other ones because this is awesome. I don't know if you all are taught this, but I hear people being taught now, don't ever show your customer the swatch book. I'm like, I kind of used it as a challenge. Like, I'll show you the swatch and tell you, I'll pick the one that will be your end result. And if I can't get close to that, I'm not doing my job. So I feel like if you tell people that, it's just making it easier for you not to do your job well.
I think that some swatches are just
Well, yeah, like I'm not going to tell somebody I'm putting 6N on your hair and you're going to look like this. I'm going to be like, I'm putting 6N on your hair, and I'll show them the 6 gold because your hair is going to look like this, right? Because I know what NRP is and I understand NRP, natural remaining pigment. So I show them what they should be expecting, not, the other. But anyway, so I love the swatch book because of that. And these are some of the things that make this color line totally different. So 100% vegan. It has been gluten tested. So that is a big thing. I mean, I've been told by doctors that there's a very small amount of people that have severe reactions to gluten, that gluten would be a problem in shampoos or anything because it's typically ingested is the problem. And there's a very small percentage of people that topical would be a big, big problem. But the nice thing is we don't have to worry about that with this color line. All plant-derived surfactants. So what that does for the color, it is the creamiest color I've ever mixed. It's like super creamy, beautiful. The dye molecules, so the ratio of dye molecules is, if you have to be careful. If you get too much dye molecule in the color, it can cause it to be more irritating to the scalp. So they've balanced that to give you all the dye that you need to get a rich finish, but not so much that it causes a sensitivity. And that's important with an MEA color. The no ammonia, no PPD, and no resorcinol. So no ammonia we've already talked about. The PPD, paraphenyldiamine. How many people have been hearing about PPD? So paraphenyldiamine is a pigment that is a really good gray coverage pigment, and most colors use this in their color lines. Many companies now, such as Aveda, Davines, have reformulated their color lines to get rid of PPD, and they've taken it to PTD. So there's paraphenyldiamine, paratoluendiamine. They are sister pigments. Typically, a high percentage of people, if they're allergic to color, they're allergic to pigment. If they're allergic to PPD, there's a high percentage of those same people that will be allergic to PTD as well. So in some ways, it's a big advertising ploy to do, but in other ways, there are some people that won't be allergic to it, so it is helpful for those people. So the PPD and the PTD are not necessarily gases, but the MEA is where it's not a gas, and you do have to rinse more with an MEA color, absolutely. Yeah. And then the resorcinol, getting rid of that is a big deal for us, right? Then one of the biggest things for us, and I think this is really interesting, we're getting more and more into algae, and this red algae has a super antioxidant action and protects the scalp a lot, and it also reconstructs the hair. It's also in our Beauty Fusion color, and it gives you a reconstructive component while you're coloring the hair, so the hair actually gets better while you're processing. I was talking to my model earlier, Heather. She has a daughter, and I have a stepdaughter who is all about seaweed, eating seaweed. And I was like, we took her to Costco, and she wanted seaweed so bad, and on the front of the package it said it causes reproductive problems and cancer. And I was like, I'm not buying you that. And she was so mad at me, and we were talking, and all the packages say that, but as far as that is ingested, and that's because of the way that it's, from what I understand, that's the way that it is being harvested, and we don't have any of those problems. So if you see that and you think seaweed might be causing cancer, it is not in hair color causing cancer. It is a somehow issue in the ingestion of it, and a lot of people are apparently into eating seaweed now. Paraphenyldiamine, when not used with the proper secondary pigments and the secondary couplers, becomes a real issue, and it is a bad situation if it's not used properly. When you have the right secondaries with it, they attach to it molecularly, and then it does not react to the body the same way. So it depends on how it's used, and most companies use it the proper way, especially professional companies, but some companies are trying to say don't use PPD color to make you stop buying another brand, and they're acting like it's not being used right when it really is. So that's not a huge concern in our professional world. Now, a cheap over-the-counter color may be using PPD and not using all the same secondaries they need to be using to stop that reaction, but not a professional color line. So that's why we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater per se. Its color has PPD in it, but we also have ingredients in there that keep you from having reactions to it and protect you from having any irritation. So 9 times out of 10, if I have a customer who's had irritation and they come in and I put its color on them, I don't have any irritation from it. They actually say I have less irritation than I've ever had. But if they ever were allergic to PPD, your better choice would be to go to Beauty Fusion or to ReColor now, because those two lines do not have PPD in them, and it gives you an option to try something else. If they're allergic to PPD and PTD, your next option would be our direct color line, which is my Color Magic. All right, so back to this. We use stem cells from wild olive plant as a hydrolipid. So this molecule loves the scalp. Lipids are attracted to lipids, and lipids are oils. So your scalp has a lot of oil, natural oils to it. This is going to go down and almost base your scalp. So you don't have to do anything. You apply the color, and the oil loves oil, so it kind of works its way to the scalp and also protects that follicle from the MEA. So it's one more component that helps with the MEA. The patented Fiber Enhance is an ingredient that actually strengthens the fiber of the hair while you're processing. So you're getting a reconstructive component at the same time. And the rice bran oil is just another way of keeping alkalinity down and to keeping that hair in a healthy state. And pH. Mixing ratio again, 1 to 1.5. Like I said, that was done for one reason, to keep the MEA down, but the other reason is so that you're not paying a lot more per application for this color than you are its color. So we all know that the 5.1 ounce tube is amazing color, is an amazing price, right? This is a 3.4 ounce tube for slightly higher, but when you mix it 1 to 1.5, it goes further. So it's not crazy difference in application price. And then this is the first MEA permanent color line that I know of that actually has an MEA high lift, because that's really hard to do with MEA. So we do have high lift colors in this line, and you do them the same way. 1 part color to 2 parts 40 volume. So it works just like your regular color. These are the series that we have right now in the color line. And as you can see, it's a limited color amount, but we have more colors coming, which that's why there's blanks on here, because you'll be able to fill in the new colors. But this is all of the colors that we have right now. It's enough to do everything you need to do, but you might have to mix things to get what you're wanting, because we don't have the 100 and some tubes that we have in its color yet.
I have a doctorate in environmental science, so environmental issues in my salon is very, very important to me. And what I love about Artego is that it uses recycled products. You're not having to buy a million different color books, you know what I mean, to keep adding on to it. It's completely environmentally friendly, and it's just less stuff you have to have in your salon.
Yeah.
Less stuff you have to buy.
Absolutely. And even with our It's Color, if you had the big swatch book in the past and we came out with the new control shades, they actually have an add-on kit at the warehouse that they send you, and it has a sticker for your color wheel, and it has a new swatch that slides into it. So we, as a company, try to do those things to not throw away everything and, not take care of.
As much as you can.
Yeah, I love that too. As you can see here, this is one of the things that I love the most. Check out the different series and what the percentage of gray coverage is. This color line, you do not need to use a lot of N series or gold series or chocolate series. All of those series help out with gray coverage. In this line, 100% gray, natural, ash, and blue will cover 100% gray. All the other series, 80%. So it's not as necessary to add in as much N or ash to the formula to get your result for gray coverage. The model that I had that ended up with COVID that didn't come this morning, she was about 70% gray, and I used a 5.5, which is a 5 mahogany, and a 6 chocolate, 6M on her, no N at all. And her hair, she's so resistant that she's always had trouble covering, and her hair covered beautifully. It's held. She's been like, I've never had color that would hold this without lightening up on the gray hair. It's been really good. So I've been really impressed with the gray coverage for sure. And like I said, I feel like this line gives you a more opaque, I feel like it's the most opaque option we have. At least right now that I've used it, that's how I feel. I might change my mind later, but for the most part, that's how it seems to me. Here's the color wheel. Of course, like I said, in every swatch book, we have the color wheel that shows you the base tones. And this is something that's a little different. No other color line that we have works this way. So this is only for ReColor, only for ReColor. 0 to 50% gray, you're going to use the same color level as the desired color. If that client has 50% to 75% gray hair, you are going to use 3 parts of the color that you're going for, the desired color, and you're going to add 1 part of the next level down. So you're going to drop and put some of the darker level in it. This is the biggest difference between this color line and anything else we have. So if you learn this, you'll know how to use ReColor fine. If they are 75 to 100% gray, you're gonna mix it half and half. So if you're gonna do a 6M for chocolate, like a level 6 chocolate, you're gonna do half 5N and half 6M if they're that high in gray percentage. And that's gonna give you gray coverage. You don't have to change your 20 volume. With this line, it's just 20 volume across the board. You never go to 30 volume. So it's not the same as its color. It's only dropping your level. We have, but only for lift. For 3 levels of lift, 4 levels of lift, we have 30 and 40, but it's not needed for gray coverage with this line. And one of the reasons you can kind of imagine why that is, if MEA stays alkaline the whole processing time, we don't need high developer and higher alkalinity. So because it's MEA, we don't need higher than 20 volume with it. And we would probably not want to use higher than 20 volume with it if we didn't have to. So Nutriplex is the additive that is, I use this on my model. So you're going to mix Nutriplex into your color when you want to make it dimmy for the midshaft and ends. Or let's say you wanted to tone somebody and you don't want alkalinity on that already bleached hair. You could mix one of the toning colors with this and make it a dimmy. All this is an acidifier and a reconstructor. So it acidifies the color and brings that alkalinity down from permanent to demi-permanent. And it's really cool. It only works with ReColor, so don't try it in the other colors because so far I haven't tested it and I wouldn't want you to have a problem. How much would you use? All right, so slightly sensitized hair. The Nutriplex does not change your mixing ratio whatsoever as far as your color and your developer. So 1 part of your ReColor color, 1.5 parts of your oxy, which is your developer, and whether that's 10, 20, 30, or 40 oxy. And then you're going to do 1/2 part of Nutriplex, and that's if the hair is in good shape. You're going to increase to 1 part Nutriplex and then up to 1.5 parts Nutriplex for impoverished hair. I love when Italians translate. When that hair's fried, that's what we say in the South. I don't know if that's what you say here, but her hair was fried, so I used the strongest amount. All right, so that is your mixing ratios. Keep in mind, I haven't got to test this line a lot on a lot of models yet, but my thoughts are, if you're going with that higher amount, you're also going to dilute your pigment a little bit. So you might want to add in some deeper level if you're trying to keep the exact same level of pigment. I'm not sure of that yet, but I feel that has to be the case because you're using quite a bit of this in the formula. So I just want you to be mindful of that. But most of the time, if you're refreshing ends, especially with our color lines, you don't need to do anything but get the tone back. So you're not looking for like a full level or anything like that, right? And that probably wouldn't be a problem. But if you were looking for levels of refresh, you might drop a little bit of a darker shade in it because you're diluting it. Everybody got it? You're all ready to use ReColor? They did a really good job this time of keeping this line simple, and because people lose their minds with Beauty Fusion because of the booster. They're like, I have to add something else? I'm like, yeah, but it gives you so many options that you wouldn't have otherwise. I'm gonna go over some things with Beauty Fusion because as soon as I get that done, I'm gonna get you started on swatches and I'm gonna start my next model. And then I'm gonna do, on Stacy's hair, I'm gonna do a copper ReColor at the new growth, and then I'm gonna paint in low lights of copper, and then I'm gonna go over everything with a glaze of gold to get that, to make the blonde more golden with the copper tones so it looks like a natural copper. And you'll get to see ReColor cover over highlights to a degree, right?